John?
Well, sir, I was going to ask, I think it came up during a hearing that someone said they thought they were about 1,500 people short in terms of manpower. Is it conceivable that it's a budget issue, that they don't have the coverage because they don't have the financial resources?
I think we've doubled their budget in the last 10 years. They have 8,000 agents protecting 33 people. That they need to be able to roll up the people that are sitting and doing nothing in those offices. And I say nothing. I shouldn't be that cavalier. They are doing important things. But obviously, in this situation, President Trump probably needed 4 or 5 times that. I would argue that it would be next to impossible to make that particular site safe for the president. It's going to take more than just throwing money at it. And I think certainly it starts with leadership. And that's what we're lacking right now is leadership.
The AIC would be the one that would, the agent in charge, would be the one that would ask that, right?
You want to set the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just want to get
I'm sorry. The AIC would be the agent in charge of the site. That'd be the agent in charge of the whole venue that was setting up the protective perimeters. Would be the one that would set how many personnel he needs to guard it specifically. And so that would be one question that would need to be asked. Was a request given and was it denied? That'd be a simple communication, because that should be, those site plans for the setting up the perimeters, that should have been given out that should be documentation. There's no question about it. I mean, when we used to do site planning, we would actually draw it out, and that'd be part of the briefing. You would put it up on the wall, or you'd put it out on emails, tell you how long ago I was doing it. But you'd put it up on the wall, and you would actually assign, here's building A, B, C, D, or building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, and how many people it's going to take to secure that building and block off all that whole perimeter. And that would be your personnel that you set by those perimeters. So without that, we don't know. We don't know actually how many people were actually needed to protect that site to make it secure.
Well, given what happened, I think it's indisputable that there were not sufficient agents assigned to protect Donald Trump. That for that location, that roof was not secured. There were not agents in place to be aware of the sniper. There were not agents in place. There were not counter snipers who had visibility on the shooter. There was no aerial assets. We know from public reporting there have been multiple requests from the Trump team for additional agents, for additional equipment, and that those requests have been turned down. At the hearing, I asked, what is the relative size of the Secret Service detail that was assigned to Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, compared to the Secret Service detail that is assigned to Joe Biden, compared to the Secret Service detail that is assigned to the First Lady? There were reports that on the day of the rally, the Secret Service transferred agents from Donald Trump's detail to protect the First Lady. Now, look, it is important to protect the First Lady. But the acting director refused to answer any question about the relative size of how many agents are assigned. And what I believe happened is the Secret Service was treating Donald Trump as a former president. Former presidents are given Secret Service details, but not that extensive as Secret Service details. Typically, the threat profile a former president is facing is significantly less than Donald Trump is facing. Donald Trump is not just a former president. He is the Republican nominee to be president, and he is one of 2 people who is likely to be the next president of the United States. And it's why the request of the threat levels, how many threats, how many credible threats there are, is so important, because this decision is supposed to follow the threats. And I believe what the Department of Homeland Security did, what Alejandro Mayorkas did, is they didn't want to assign that additional protection because they didn't want to confer, I guess, legitimacy to Trump. I think it is the very same reasoning that led them to deny a Secret Service detail to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., because the fact that RFK Jr. is running is politically inconvenient to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and giving Secret Service detail would legitimize it. If that's their reasoning, Congress and the American people deserve to see in writing why they said no, because if you're actually doing your job, the job of the Secret Service, there clearly should have been additional agents. There should have been an agent on that roof. The shooter should have been detained and questioned, and there should have been aerial assets. None of those happened, and today, Secret Service answered none of those questions as to why they didn't happen.
Go ahead.